What Third World? By Edward Bristol. Read by Troy W. Hudson. Produced for Wildfish Audio. Copyright 2014. Most Westerners who start a business in places like Ghana, Venezuela, or Sri Lanka do so either because they fell in love with the country or with one of its inhabitants. Both reasons are valid starting points, but one will nevertheless soon begin to miss simple amenities such as fresh cheese, a bakery, the cinema, or reliable plumbing, to name a few. Sending a registered letter takes half a day, and paying the electricity bill is a challenge even for the locals. Traffic in the Third World either combines truck racing with a German highway, or alternatively does not move an inch. All this may be outweighed by the feeling of doing something special instead of waiting for retirement in the cold somewhere. But to be honest, there are borderline cases. I had just renovated a house in the only residential area in Colombo town with broadband access. We moved our business to 512 kilobit and celebrated a fast connection to the virtues of global communication. Where there is a will, there is a way. Or so I thought. The following week, our neighbor started a new business involving the extensive use of 3 chainsaws nonstop from dawn until midnight, 7 days a week, including Christmas and New Year. Simultaneously, our broadband died down to a 15 kilobit narrowband. For the non-techies, that's not enough to open Hotmail before the PC hibernates. Well, thanks to the chainsaw, I could hardly understand my own yelling at the telecom people. After 3 days, the telecom emergency squad checked the lines from the switchboard to our house. They proudly localized and removed 1 crow and 1 bat, both rotten, from the cables, but nothing changed. The telecom squad then concluded that it must be our modem. I scared the hell out of the modem supplier until he first exchanged and then upgraded the modem. Nothing changed. Meanwhile, I noticed that the line was great from midnight until dawn. The modem seller? Oh, yes, sure, interference with the chainsaw. The chainsaw? From what I had learned in 35 years of high-tech life, this was simply impossible. Nevertheless, I searched 2 days for an anti-interference modem. A fortune and 1 week of nerve-wracking installations later, we made it to a sad 17 kilobits. I was at the end of my capabilities and no Buddhist wisdom could help me calm down. The neighbor happily chainsawed my brain and our business model into slices. Finally, I put on my best smile and went to visit him with a bottle of the finest local Eric. I offered him everlasting friendship and buckets of money if he only stopped chainsawing. He felt criticized. He felt offended. I felt deeply nervous and threatened to call the police. Good idea, he said, to my surprise. Let's call the police. 3 hours later, the local sergeant arrived. 250 pounds of corruption stuffed into a dirty uniform, staring at me with booze eyes. I immediately felt sick, but did not despair. Determined, I made my case, logically, friendly, and reasonably. Surely anybody could see that I was right. How may one chainsaw 718 in a residential area? The sergeant didn't say a word until I finished my speech. Then he slowly turned to my neighbor and addressed him in Sinhalese. They both laughed. From the little Sinhalese that I know, I gathered the sergeant was my neighbor's brother-in-law. I longed for a quiet office job in the cold somewhere. While I search for a new house, it's good to work at night, especially from midnight to dawn. Maybe I'll find a house on the beach. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Thanks for your time. Please also visit edwardbristol.com.